Beliefs alone don't define your subconscious. It's deeply woven into your future. Unless you learn how to unravel this connection, you'll keep reliving the same reality again and again, even if you think you've shifted slightly. The loop feels so much like life that most people never realize they're trapped in it. It feels like routine, like personality. You start to believe this is just how I am. But behind the familiar is a hidden pattern. Your thoughts carry a frequency, and within that frequency lies a code. Right now, that code is being transmitted by a version of you that you don't consciously remember choosing. In this very moment, a background field is at work in your mind, a silent architecture shaping what you attract, how you feel, and who you think you are. It doesn't listen to what you say. It doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your being beneath the story you're telling yourself. It reacts to the entanglement. What you're about to receive isn't a lesson, it's a revelation. A glimpse into the unseen mechanism that binds your mind to repeating timelines and a guide to breaking free. Not through effort, but through frequency. And here's why you must stay until the very end. The final insight will show you exactly how to unlock the code and break the loop using a method most people have never heard of, but your subconscious already knows. If you feel the universe is whispering through these words, leave a 787 in the comments. That's your signal that you're ready to receive. And if this message resonates with you, follow this channel. What's coming next will shift your inner world forever. You are not just interacting with the code, you are the code. You've probably heard of quantum entanglement. It sounds complex, futuristic, maybe even a little too science documentary meets spiritual metaphor. Vague, abstract. But what if I told you it's not abstract at all? Forget particles just spinning mysteriously in space. Entanglement isn't some distant concept, it's happening inside you right now. And you're feeling its effects every single day, whether you're aware of it or not. It's time to lift the veil. Quantum entanglement is when two particles become so deeply connected that the state of one immediately influences the other, no matter how far apart they are. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. But here's the twist, he was wrong about it being spooky. It's not weird, it's precise. It's the blueprint of the universe. More importantly, it's the blueprint of your mind. Because entanglement doesn't just apply to particles. Both cutting-edge science and ancient mystical traditions agree. It happens in thought, in emotion, in identity. It's embedded in memory, belief, and vibrational resonance. Every trauma, every choice, every unspoken feeling, you didn't leave them behind. They became entangled. And here's where it gets dangerous. That entanglement spans time. It links you to versions of yourself that still exist in other timelines, to possibilities you've never fully explored, yet they're looping silently in your subconscious right now. This isn't metaphor. This is the science of the field. When something becomes entangled, it can no longer exist in isolation. It transmits and receives information instantly across space and time as we perceive them. And as a vibrational being, you are not an exception. You are not separate. You are not alone. You are a node in a vast, interconnected field of living information. You are not even one-dimensional. The ideas, memories, intents, patterns, fears, wants, and frequencies that make up your being are intricately intertwined with one another. When you broadcast codes into the field, you are also receiving codes back, and the codes you receive are determined by who and what you are involved with. Permit me to ask you this. When you were recalling anything, did you ever feel as though you were doing it over and over again? As if regardless of how much you alter, there is always something that pulls you back. This is not a block at all. Such a thing is a quantum tether, a relationship that is concealed between you and a version of your life that has never really come to an end, that continues to reverberate. You are attempting to develop yourself through your thoughts, feelings, and reactions. You make an effort to shift. The inner labor is done by you. But beneath the surface, there is a resistance. This pushback is not an example of sloth. It is not a sign of weakness. The problem is the tangled web. This is the emotional field repeating a frequency that has become obsolete, a choice that is no longer compatible with the person you are evolving into. And unless you break the bond, unless you change the frequency of the loop, you will continue to gravitate toward that particular form of reality, a magnetic attraction, if you will. just like gravity. Invisible, however. It is this that the majority of people get wrong. They are under the impression that they need to make modifications to themselves, rewrite their beliefs, improve their affirmations, and visualize more. However, quantum entanglement does not react to the conscious will of the observer. Reacting to vibrational coherence is what it does. This indicates that your subconscious field, which is characterized by your profound emotional and energy baseline, has to be adjusted to a new input. This is not a temporary or occasional state. Rather, it is stable. And here's when things get interesting. It is not necessary for you to locate the version of yourself that is entangled and then cut it off. What you need to do is transform it. Communication is necessary between you and it. Moving its frequency from within the field is something that needs to be done, mostly due to the fact that you are not only connected with your history, there is also a connection between you and your potential, along your more elevated path. Utilizing the version of yourself that already existing in a world that is coherent, expansive, and aligned already. You will not find that version waiting for you. Already it is broadcasting already, but you are unable to hear. On the other hand, you need to tune in if you are still wrapped up in the cacophony. To add insult to injury, tuning in is not additional work. To be able to experience the code, you need to reach a state of stillness. In the following chapter, we are going to investigate something that is even more nuanced and potent than what we know so far. The manner in which your subconscious mind originally became involved in the situation. Additionally, until you are able to change that buried programming, your conscious attempts will constantly be overcome by something that is more fundamental. Once you have a better understanding of how the code was installed, you will finally be able to start rewriting it. Instead of using force, alignment is the method. Prepare to go. Throughout the majority of your life, you have held a particular belief. It's the conviction that your thoughts are entirely unique to you, because you are the owner of your own thinking. You are the source of your thoughts, desires, and decisions. They originate from your conscious self. It is not the case, however. You are aware of it on a fundamental level. You experienced that each and every time you made a choice that was completely illogical. Each and every time you ruined what you claimed to want. Every time your body began to react before your intellect could provide an explanation for it. It is not a failure on your part. This means that you are living from a mentality that was never wholly yours to begin with, mostly due to the fact that programming existed before language and before identification have any significance. Via means of your family, a product of your culture, from all that you took in through your feelings, sensations, and listening to frequencies. Those early impressions, the majority of which were received before the age of 7, became entwined in your field as unquestionable reality during that time. A lie due to the fact that they were genuine. Since they were repeated, they are the truth. Furthermore, in the quantum world, repetition is a form of code. Your subconscious does not learn through rationality, as you can see. It is determined by rhythm, because of the exposure, through resonance. What it perceives to be safe is whatever it feels the majority of the time. Additionally, it protects whatever is secure, even if it is turning you into a zombie. When people want to change, they often experience feelings of being blocked because of this. People say things like, "I don't know why I keep attracting the same kind of relationship," and other similar phrases. "My desire is for abundance, but I am always sabotaging opportunities. I'm making an effort to be different, yet I can't help but feel drawn back to the person I used to be." Does it pull? The entangled mind is at work in this situation. Whatever it is that you desire, your subconscious does not care. What you have been taught to anticipate is irrelevant to it. And until you make a change to that expectation at the frequency level, you will continue to recreate familiar loops with new people, new jobs, and new spiritual tools, all while maintaining the same emotional signature. The fact of the matter is that they have colonized your mind, not by a single individual, no, not by any means. However, via the continuation of programming at a low frequency. And now comes the challenging part. There are aspects of such programming that bring to mind your personality. A portion of it seems to be based on your instincts. There is even some of it that seems to be true. However, this is not the case. It is a form of defense, a system for survival that is constructed within a version of you that has only ever learned how to cope with situations. I do not know how to grow. There is no way to decide. You do not know how to align yourself with the version of reality in which you are already free. The question is, how can you reclaim your mind if it is so deeply enmeshed with the lessons it has learned from suffering? You do not give it a fight. You should not ridicule it. One does not attempt to outthink the competition. It is up to you to decide. It is important to keep in mind that your subconscious is not merely a database. It is a sender or receiver. Your life is shaped by the information that it transmits. And here is the most important thing that the majority of people never hear. It is not only your past that is responsible for programming your subconscious thinking. It is tuned by the entanglements that you have. In other words, the individuals with whom you are related, your interactions with various energy, the recollections that you play over and over again, the feelings that you bring up when you are alone. Every one of them will send signals back into your field area. Moreover, if you never have those cleared. The lines. A version of yourself that is no longer relevant continues to provide you with feedback, one that does not correspond to the reality that you claim to desire it to be. The question that should be asked is not, how can I think better thoughts? The question that has to be answered is with whom or what is my mind still entangled? Due to the fact that it might be a recollection, you and your own version, one who is apparent, one that is traumatic, a hush that never was disturbed with any sound, an identification that was by no means called into question, and up until the point when you ensure that link is coherent, your energy will continue to be redirected back into the loop of the system. This is where the breakthrough comes in. You do not consist of your patterns. You do not consist of your programming. It is not you who is the echo. You represent the signal. Also, when the signal becomes unambiguous, the field gives its response. The mind undergoes a change. The body is in place. There are bendings in it. We take a trip there in the following chapter. You are going to learn the exact procedure to start untangling from frequencies that are no longer in use. How to bring your subconscious field into alignment with the reality that your soul has already decided to live in. However, your thoughts have not changed, not quite caught up with you. There is no need to add further work. Listening in on what is already being aired is part of the process. Following that, we will move into that area which is just outside of your present range. Since the moment you experience the frequency of who you truly are, you will know. No longer does the mind put up a fight. There is a memory. You now have a better understanding of the field. As soon as you become aware of the entanglement, you are prepared to make a change, but not in the manner that the world instructed you. This has nothing to do with coercing change. It is not going to be about writing down goals in a journal or repeating new affirmations over and over again. Due to the fact that the subconscious field does not react to written words, it reacts to the same frequency as well. It is that frequency. To be encoded, feeling, emotion, and presence are all necessary components, exactly like that we recode. But before we get to that, something really crucial. The things that you continue to identify with cannot be changed. Therefore, before we take any action, one must make a decision. It is necessary for you to make the decision consciously, to free yourself from the identity you currently hold as the ultimate source of truth. No, not because it is incorrect, but due to the fact that it is lacking. It is essential that you have lived up to this point in your life. It was able to survive. It went through the anguish. All of it was held together by it. However, it was hardwired to a particular image of reality. This is no longer beneficial to the person you are becoming. As a result, the transition starts. Here we are, at this very moment. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Take a slow breath in. Also, exhale completely. Give the body time to relax. Please allow the jaw to relax. Let the shoulders get mushy. Feel yourself being held by gravity. And now I will say, just picture this. Your spine is being illuminated by a ray of light throughout its entirety. It begins at the crown of your head and ends at the bottom of your body. The signal is present in this thread, that which carries the code, the connection that exists between your field and the larger field. Imagine now that this thread is starting to have a pulse, slowly in fact, a rhythmic manner, comparable to the beating of a heart, at each and every heartbeat. Outside of itself, a wave of energy expands. Furthermore, it begins to eliminate static. static from the past. Loops are used. There are old entanglements. There are previous identities. They are not being removed by you. You are recognizing their existence. In addition, selecting an alternative option. The next step is to focus your attention on your chest. You are in the exact middle. It is the heart. Suppose that this particular place is a transmitter. Being able to send out a coherent signal into the quantum field for transmission, ask yourself this question now. When it comes to your thinking, however, with your life force, which of the realities that I have been communicating is one that I do not intend to repeat today? Not at all. Utilize words to respond. Feel free to express yourself. Let the truth be heard in the stillness. Having said that, with that awareness in place, the new frequency should be brought in. This is not a dream, not a way forward. On the other hand, the version of you that already existing together in harmony, without ambiguity, it's love. I also flow up. Look at them. Get a sense of them. Inhale and exhale alike. And now I will say, to breathe as they do. Put your lungs in contact with their breath, the self-assurance they have in your posture, the silence that settled into your chest. Allow it to take place right now. Begin the process of merging as a conceptual concept, not at all. Now, however, as a frequency match. You are not making things up. This is your tuning. The subconscious field that you are working with is being synchronized with a chronology that already exists. Something has been waiting for you to remember it for a long time. Also at the same time, it is you, right now, without a sound, or even out loud. The following phrase should be repeated, however only, in the event that you truly mean it. The loop is now disengaged. It is my right to the code. Here I am back in alignment. Once more, allow it to chimes within you. The loop is now disengaged. It is my right to the code. Here I am back in alignment. Sense it reverberating throughout your body. And now I will say, another breath to take. Take a long, deep breath. Hold on. Take a slow exhale. It is time to integrate the transition. The story does not finish here. Now we are at the beginning. To put it simply, you have just released there is a new signal, a response that will be given by the field, but it is only if you continue to be consistent with it. This is the actual task that needs to be done, without repeating the steps. On the other hand, adopting a new frequency as your default starting point. It is not necessary to achieve perfection. It is necessary to be present, is because when the signal is held for a sufficient amount of time, changes occur in the feedback. The order of reality shifts. The field gives its response. Changes occur in the entanglement. But all of a sudden, one version of your existence is no longer something you are attempting to flee from. You are simply no longer capable of competing with it. Quantum recoding is in effect here, when fresh results are not imposed. Collapsing, however, by becoming incompatible with their frequency, old time frames have become obsolete. And the more you are able to maintain this coherence, the better. The more alterations that were previously invisible begin to become obvious. The people change. Occasions present themselves. Brainwaves are rewired. Emotions become more pliable. It is not a miracle. Yes, it is resonance. And it all starts with a single decision. In order to maintain the new frequency for an adequate amount of time, and to become it. Finally, in the last chapter, all of it is brought together by us, due to the fact that there is one final truth to keep in mind, a final activation to set the fire ablaze. Also, once you have incorporated it, you are not going to just change your reality. There will be a change in who you are within it. As a result of that, everything starts to provide a response. As soon as you become aware of the change, as soon as you have taken a breath, you will be the version of yourself that remembers. Are you prepared to go on to the final code, but before to putting it into action? You must be made aware of this reality when it comes to your thinking, but with the entirety of your field. On no occasion were you broken. You have never been suffering from any kind of problem. You lived through every loop, all of the timelines that you repeated. You were unable to explain every single pattern. They did not constitute punishments. It was your subconscious mind that sent you the codes. It was attempting to protect you in the only manner it knew how to do so, mostly due to the fact that the mind does not cling to pain out of compassion. The familiarity of the pain causes it to cling to it. The quantum field is another place. The power lies in familiarity. In any case, the familiarity of your system is recognized. Even if it's complete and utter pandemonium, it is going to recreate. This is not because you desire it. On the other hand, because the people in your profession believe that you are. On the other hand, that belief. This signal does not belong to you anymore to carry. Because the time has come, you are able to recall the very truth. It is not true that you are the echo. Your presence is the frequency. The loop does not include you. You are the one who decides what features are worthy of being looped. And now I will say, you prefer a different option. Your choice is to be coherent. Your choice is to be clear. You decide to align yourself. Moreover, the most important thing, the decision to become a conscious transmitter in the field is yours to make. Because this is something that they did not tell you. There is no separation between you and the field. It is. This is not something that exists. Certainly, it is not the universe looking down from on high. The playing field is you. The feedback loop in question is you. The code relies on you. This is the signal, you the observer, as well as the result. When your coherence is altered in some way, the gravity that you have shifts, and when your gravity shifts significantly, when reality begins to revolve around something else. If you want a new life, you don't have to battle for it. There is a new frequency that needs to be stabilized. The remaining pieces will be rearranged. Here, however, is the complete code, one that is concealed behind all of the others, none of it. The world around you undergoes transformations. For as long as you continue to be incompatible with the person you used to be. This is the true sense of remoteness, not from individuals, not based on the results. On the other hand, from the identity that ensured you remain bound by constraints. Rather of waiting for a better version of life you are living it, to put it simply, you are no longer matching the broadcast of the previous device. In addition, the instant that you fully comprehend that, certainly not only cognitively, however, in terms of vibration, everything in your immediate vicinity starts to react. People come to you in a variety of ways. More clarity can be heard in your voice. There are cases of synchronicity. The resistance is eliminated. Not because the world around us shifted, because you did it, however. You started acting as the new signal, the field as well. That is always the case, obeyed by. Now then, inhale deeply into this ultimate reality. I no longer try to avoid being in the loop. Currently, I am not resisting the field. I transform into the code. For the final time. Try to breathe with it. The code is me. Certainly this is not a method. It would be a remembrance. It is important to keep in mind that your subconscious is not your adversary. You are the amplifier here. And now I will say, it has been tuned. The time has come to go forward. This is not merely a difference in your ideas. When you vibrate, you are different. Along with that distinction is what the actual world reflects. If this is how you felt, if there was a change coming from within you, in the course of this trip, make sure that it is not just another video that you have watched. Allow this to be the moment when your environment shifted. Never again did they return. Moreover, if you are traveling down this path with me, assuming that you are prepared to remain in this frequency, also develop into daily it is. Comment down below. The old code was compressed by me. Confirm that you are present here. Please allow me to sense your presence in this situation. This is not content for that reason. Here we are in communion. In addition, if you are prepared to proceed, when you want something other than videos, should you be interested in constructing this new frequency with me, take it one step at a time. Sign up right away. This is not a click. On the other hand, as an option, just this area, this particular channel, is an indication. Those who refuse to leave, make a change. The playing field is you. The code relies on you. You represent the point of choice. And now I will say, it starts off.